Commander Diana Rodriguez stood at the observation deck of the Lunar Defense Station, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display showing hundreds of unknown objects decelerating at the edge of the solar system. After 20 years in the Space Force, she had thought nothing could surprise her anymore. She was wrong. Analysis confirms it, Commander, Lieutenant Kai Zhang reported, his fingers dancing across the quantum interface. The objects are utilizing some form of gravity manipulation we've never seen before. Their deceleration should be impossible. Diana nodded, keeping her expression neutral despite the gravity of the situation. The station's AI had awakened her just 3 hours ago with a priority alert. Now, she faced what every commander in human history had trained for but never truly expected, first contact with an alien civilization. And they weren't coming in peace. "Get me a direct link to Admiral Harrison," she ordered, turning away from the viewport. "And inform Dr. Patel that I need her in the command center immediately." The response from Earth was swift. Within minutes, the quantum comm sparked to life, projecting Admiral Harrison's weathered face in the center of the command deck. "Tell me we're looking at a sensor malfunction, Commander." "Negative, sir. Dr. Patel has confirmed the readings from 3 separate arrays. We're tracking approximately 300 vessels, each roughly the size of an old aircraft carrier. They're maintaining perfect formation despite breaking every law of physics we know." The Admiral's expression hardened. "And their trajectory?" "Direct course to Earth, sir. At their current velocity, they'll reach lunar orbit in 72 hours. A heavy silence filled the quantum channel before Harrison spoke again. "Commander Rodriguez, initiate Protocol Omega. Authorization code, Thunderbird 79 Alpha." Diana's breath caught in her throat. Protocol Omega was theoretical, a contingency plan so secret that only a handful of people knew its full scope. It meant revealing humanity's most closely guarded technological achievements, developments that had been hidden from the public for decades. "Understood, sir. Initiating Protocol Omega." She turned to her crew, who watched with a mixture of anticipation and apprehension. "Lieutenant Zhang, contact the Prometheus facility. Tell Director Patel to wake them up." Deep beneath the Mariana Trench, in a facility unknown to 99.9% of humanity, humanity's real space fleet waited. Not the public-facing ships that patrolled the solar system, but vessels built with technology that would seem like magic to most of the human race. Dr. Amara Patel arrived in the command center as Diana was reviewing the preliminary defense plans. The scientist's usually immaculate appearance was disheveled, suggesting she'd come straight from her lab. "Commander, you need to see this," Amara said without preamble, uploading data to the main display. "We've decoded some of their communications. They're not just an alien fleet, they're an enforcement arm of something called the Galactic Concordat. And we're being charged with unauthorized technological advancement." Diana's jaw tightened. "They're here to put us back in our place. Like we're children who've gotten into the cookie jar." "Worse," Amara replied. "Based on the transmissions we've decoded, they intend to forcibly reduce our technology level to pre-industrial standards. They believe we've developed too quickly and pose a threat to galactic stability." The commander allowed herself a grim smile. "Then they really don't understand humans at all, do they?" She activated the station-wide comm, "All personnel, battle stations. This is not a drill. We are initiating Protocol Omega." Across the solar system, hidden facilities began powering up. Quantum computers that had been running simulations for decades shifted to combat protocols. In the asteroid belt, automated factories that had been secretly producing advanced weapons platforms began activating their creations. "Dr. Patel, how long until the Prometheus fleet can be combat-ready?" Amara consulted her quantum pad. "The AI pilots can be uploaded within 6 hours. The quantum drives need 12 hours to reach full capacity. The neural interface systems are already online." Diana nodded, already formulating plans. Humanity had hoped to keep its technological achievements secret for at least another decade, using the time to build up their defenses further. But if these aliens wanted to test humanity's capabilities, they were in for a surprise. Lieutenant Zhang, begin transmitting the first contact protocols we prepared. Let's at least attempt diplomacy before we show them what humanity is really capable of. She paused, watching the alien fleet's perfect formation. But have the Prometheus fleet ready for immediate deployment. If they want to judge our worth based on our technology, we'll give them a demonstration they'll never forget. As the crew carried out their orders, Diana couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Humanity had suspected they weren't alone in the universe, and they had prepared accordingly. Now, those preparations would be put to the test against an enemy that thought they were coming to subjugate a primitive species. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't just its technology, it was their indomitable spirit and their refusal to submit to anyone who would try to limit their potential. The next 72 hours would change the course of human history forever, one way or another. The Hidden Arsenal. The Mariana Deep Space Complex hummed with activity as Director Patel led Commander Rodriguez through security checkpoints that officially didn't exist. Each massive blast door bore quantum-encrypted locks that responded only to specific genetic signatures. "We've kept the Prometheus fleet in quantum suspension," Amara explained as they descended in a gravity lift. 12 ships, each equipped with technology that violates what the Concordat considers natural law. The lift opened onto a vast underwater cavern. Diana's breath caught as she saw the fleet for the first time. The ships hung suspended in quantum fields, their obsidian hulls absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Unlike the bulky vessels of Earth's public space force, these were elegant predators, designed for combat rather than show. "Beautiful, aren't they?" Amara smiled proudly. "We reverse-engineered some of the principles from studying dark matter interactions. The hulls aren't just armor, they're quantum processors capable of calculating and executing combat maneuvers faster than human consciousness." Diana approached the nearest vessel, studying its sleek lines. "Neural interfaces. The most advanced ever created. The ships don't just respond to commands, they anticipate them. The AI cores work in perfect synchronization with human thought patterns." Amara's expression grew serious. "There is one catch. The neural load is intense. We can only interface with the ships for about 6 hours before the human mind needs rest." "6 hours should be enough," Diana replied, her mind already formulating combat strategies. "What about weapons?" Amara led her to a holographic display. "This is where we really broke the rules. Quantum torpedoes that exist in multiple states simultaneously until impact. Probability cannons that fire shells that technically never miss because they strike at all possible locations at once. And our piece de resistance, the phase shifters." The display showed a simulation of one of the Prometheus ships seemingly passing through solid matter. "By temporarily shifting our matter signature out of phase with normal spacetime, we can bypass any conventional shields or armor." Diana whistled softly. "No wonder the Concordat is worried about us. We've developed weapons they probably never even considered possible." "Humans have always excelled at finding new ways to fight," Amara agreed. "But these ships are more than weapons. They're proof that humanity won't be confined by anyone's rules but our own." A quantum alert chimed, and both women turned to the incoming transmission. Lieutenant Zhang's hologram appeared before them. "Commander, the alien fleet has accelerated. New arrival time estimated at 48 hours. They're broadcasting an ultimatum." "Put it through," Diana ordered. A new voice filled the chamber, speaking in perfectly translated English. "This is High Marshal Ven of the Galactic Concordat Enforcement Fleet. Your species has developed technologies forbidden to civilizations at your development stage. You will power down all quantum-based systems and prepare for technological regression procedures. Resistance will result in severe sanctions." Diana shared a look with Amara before responding. This is Commander Diana Rodriguez of Earth Defense Command. We reject your authority to determine humanity's technological development. Any hostile action against Earth will be met with extreme force. You mistake the situation, Commander, Ven replied, his tone condescending. We are not here to negotiate. Your species has broken quarantine protocols by developing quantum technologies without supervision. We will arrive in 48 hours. Be prepared to submit, or face the consequences. The transmission cut off. Diana turned to Amara. How quickly can we deploy the fleet? The AI cores are already integrating with the quantum drives. We can have all 12 ships ready in 18 hours. Amara hesitated. Diana, even with this technology, we're outnumbered 25-1. Numbers don't tell the whole story, Diana replied, walking toward the nearest ship. They're expecting a primitive species with stolen technology. Instead, they'll face humans who've spent decades preparing for this exact scenario. She touched the ship's hull, feeling the subtle vibration of its quantum core. Begin crew selection. I want our best pilots and tactical officers ready for neural interface training in 6 hours. As alarms began sounding throughout the facility, Diana allowed herself a moment of reflection. Humanity had hoped to reveal itself to the galaxy on its own terms, after building up an even larger fleet. But perhaps this was better, let the Concordat learn the hard way that humanity wouldn't bow to external control. One more thing, Amara called as Diana headed for the command center. We named the flagship. Given the circumstances, we thought it was appropriate. Diana looked up at the largest of the black ships. Across its bow, in subtle quantum-shifting letters that seemed to phase in and out of reality, was the name, Defiance. Perfect, Diana smiled. Let's show the galaxy exactly what that word means to humanity. The next 48 hours would see the deployment of humanity's greatest technological achievements, and the beginning of a battle that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of what humans were capable of. Battle for Sol. Jupiter's massive form cast long shadows across the quantum-cloaked Prometheus fleet. Commander Rodriguez stood on Defiance's bridge, neural interfaces linking her consciousness with the ship's quantum systems. Through the enhanced awareness the interface provided, she could feel the other 11 ships of humanity's hidden fleet, each captain connected in a perfect neural network. Concordat fleet entering Jupiter's orbital space, Lieutenant Zhang reported from his tactical station. 308 vessels maintaining perfect geometric formation. Diana studied the enemy fleet through Defiance's quantum sensors. The alien ships were beautiful in their symmetry, crystalline structures that seemed to flow like liquid metal, arranged in a three-dimensional pattern that spoke of countless years of refined tactical doctrine. Too perfect, she murmured, an idea forming. They've spent millennia perfecting their formations and tactics. But perfect patterns are predictable. Dr. Patel, are the quantum mines in position? Affirmative, Amara's voice resonated through the neural net. 5,000 micromines scattered throughout Jupiter's L4 and L5 points. Each one capable of disrupting quantum fields in a unique frequency. Diana allowed herself a small smile. The Concordat fleet was approaching exactly as predicted, their rigid formation unchanged as they passed through the Trojan points. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest military advantage wasn't their technology, it was their willingness to throw away the rulebook. All ships, execute Operation Chaos, Diana commanded through the neural net. Instantly, the 12 human vessels split into seemingly random positions, each one violating traditional tactical doctrine. Through their quantum sensors, they could see the confusion rippling through the alien fleet. Incoming transmission, Zhang announced. High Marshal Ven's hologram appeared on the bridge, his crystalline features arranged in what Diana assumed was an expression of disdain. Your pitiful display of 12 ships is hardly worth our attention. Power down your systems now, and we will be lenient in your technological regression. You seem very confident in those perfect formations of yours, Diana replied calmly. Care to put them to the test? Without waiting for a response, she gave the mental command through her neural interface. Thousands of quantum mines activated simultaneously, each one generating a unique disruption field. The effect on the Concordat fleet was immediate and devastating. Their perfect geometric pattern shattered as ships suddenly found themselves unable to maintain quantum cohesion. Vessels designed to operate in precise harmony with their neighbors were forced to compensate for thousands of different quantum fluctuations simultaneously. Concordat fleet showing signs of systemic failures, Jean reported, excitement creeping into his professional tone. Their quantum field harmonics are completely disrupted. They're trying to re-establish their formation, Amara added, monitoring the quantum signatures. But each mine is operating on a random frequency. Their standardized systems can't adapt fast enough. Diana broadcast to all ships, execute attack pattern Delta. Show them what happens when you think outside their precious box. The 12 human ships moved like predators unleashed, each one attacking from a different vector. Unlike the Concordat's rigid battle doctrine, every human captain had been encouraged to develop their own tactical style. The result was controlled chaos, unpredictable, creative, and devastating. Defiance dove through the scattered alien formation, its probability cannons firing solutions that existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Diana felt the ship's AI calculating impossibly complex attack vectors, while her human intuition chose which ones to execute. Their shields are based on predictive algorithms, Amara's voice cut through the neural net. They can't defend against attacks that violate causality. The proof of her words played out across space as human quantum torpedoes phased through alien shields, existing in multiple states until they materialized inside enemy ships. The Concordat vessels, designed to fight in perfect coordination, found themselves unable to adapt to 12 different attack patterns simultaneously. High Marshal, Diana broadcast, as another crystalline ship succumbed to quantum torpedoes, still feeling confident about that technological regression. Ven's response was immediate and furious. This is impossible. Your species cannot have developed such weapons independently. You must have stolen this technology. That's humanity's secret, Diana replied, as Defiance executed a maneuver that should have torn the ship apart. We don't care what you think is impossible. We see limitations as challenges to overcome. The battle continued to unfold across Jupiter's orbital space, a testament to humanity's unconventional approach to warfare. Where the Concordat relied on perfect formation and synchronized attacks, the human fleet operated in controlled chaos. Each ship fought independently yet remained connected through the neural network, creating a combat doctrine that was simultaneously individualistic and coordinated. They're pulling back, Zhang announced after an hour of intense combat. 37 of their ships heavily damaged, 15 completely disabled. No casualties on our side, though quantum core stability is down to 60%. Diana nodded, feeling the strain of maintaining the neural interface for so long. Let them retreat. They need to report to their superiors that humanity won't be such an easy conquest. As the remaining Concordat ships limped away from Jupiter, Diana broadcast one final message: consider this a demonstration, High Marshal. Return with your full fleet if you wish. You'll find that humanity has many more surprises waiting. Through the quantum channels, she could sense the shock and confusion radiating from the alien vessels. They had come expecting to find a primitive species playing with technology beyond their understanding. Instead, they had encountered something unprecedented, a civilization that had developed in isolation, unbound by the Concordat's rigid rules and traditions. The Battle of Jupiter, as it would come to be known, was humanity's introduction to galactic society. It would not be the last such encounter, but it had served its purpose. The galaxy now knew that humanity would not quietly submit to anyone's authority but their own. Breaking formation. 2 weeks after the Battle of Jupiter, Commander Rodriguez stood in the quantum war room beneath the Mariana facility, studying the holographic display of approaching Concordat reinforcements. This time, the alien fleet numbered over 1,000 ships. They've adapted their formation, Lieutenant Zhang noted, highlighting the new patterns. Multiple smaller battle groups instead of one large geometric structure. They're learning. Not fast enough, Dr. Patel countered, manipulating the quantum display. Look at the underlying field harmonics. They're still using standardized frequencies, just distributed differently. It's like they can't conceive of truly random operations. Diana nodded, understanding the implications. The Concordat's rigid adherence to established protocols was so deeply ingrained that even their adaptations followed predictable patterns. It was their greatest weakness, and humanity's greatest advantage. Status of Project Hydra, she asked, turning to Amara. The scientist's eyes lit up with pride. The quantum replication system is ready. Each of our 12 ships can now project up to 20 convincing phantom signatures. The energy cost is high, but the Concordat won't know which ships are real until they're right on top of them, Diana finished. And by then, it'll be too late. What about the gravity bombs? Ready for deployment. Each one creates a localized distortion that should play havoc with their formation-based combat systems. The quantum alert system chimed, and Lieutenant Zhang's expression tightened. Commander, they're broadcasting their demands. The holographic form of High Marshal Ven materialized in the war room, but this time he was accompanied by 3 other alien figures, members of the Concordat High Council itself. Their crystalline forms shifted with barely contained anger. This is your final warning, the lead council member announced. Your species has demonstrated a dangerous and chaotic approach to quantum technology. Submit to immediate technological regression, or face extinction. Diana studied the alien leaders carefully before responding. You still don't understand what you're dealing with, do you? Humanity didn't develop in isolation by accident. We evolved without your constraints, without your rigid thinking. We don't just use quantum technology, we reimagine what's possible with it. Impossible, another council member scoffed. No species can safely develop quantum manipulation without proper guidance. Your very existence is a threat to galactic stability. Then come and test that theory, Diana challenged. You'll find that chaos is humanity's natural state, and we've learned to weaponize it. The transmission cut off, and Diana turned to her command staff. They'll reach Mars orbit in 6 hours. Time to show them what humanity does best, improvise. The next 6 hours saw the deployment of humanity's most audacious defensive strategy yet. The 12 ships of the Prometheus fleet split into rotating battle groups, each one projecting multiple phantom signatures. Quantum mines were seeded throughout the Mars orbital plane, but unlike at Jupiter, these were mobile, programmed with randomized movement patterns. Diana stood on Defiance's bridge as the massive Concordat fleet approached. Through her neural interface, she could feel the quantum web they'd woven, a trap that violated every principle of conventional space combat. Enemy fleet entering weapons range, Zhang reported. They're deploying into their new formation. Launch gravity bombs, Diana ordered. Let's disrupt their carefully planned dance. Dozens of small projectiles shot forth from the human ships, each one carrying a quantum core programmed to generate localized gravitational distortions. The effect on the Concordat fleet was immediate and devastating. Ships that relied on precise positioning for their combat effectiveness suddenly found space itself working against them. Their formation is fracturing, Amara reported through the neural net. The gravitational distortions are preventing them from maintaining their standard attack patterns. Diana smiled grimly. Execute Operation Ghostwalker. The 12 human ships activated their phantom projection systems simultaneously. Suddenly, instead of 12 targets, the Concordat fleet faced what appeared to be over 200 vessels, each one generating valid quantum signatures. More importantly, each phantom could carry real weapons, thanks to quantum entanglement principles that the human scientists had discovered. The alien fleet's response was predictably rigid, they attempted to adapt their formations to deal with the apparent threat, only to find that their carefully calculated responses were useless against an enemy that didn't actually exist where they appeared to be. "They're firing on our phantoms," Jean reported with satisfaction. "Wasting energy and resources targeting ships that aren't there. Time to show them where we really are," Diana commanded. "All ships, execute attack plan Echo." The real human vessels, hidden among their phantoms, struck with devastating precision. Probability cannons fired solutions that existed in multiple quantum states, while phase shifters allowed torpedoes to bypass alien shields completely. The Concordat fleet, already struggling with the gravitational distortions and phantom targets, found themselves under attack from weapons that shouldn't exist and ships that seemed to ignore the laws of physics. "Their command and control structure is breaking down," Armada announced. "Without their formation-based combat systems, they can't coordinate effectively." Diana watched as the massive alien fleet began to fragment. Ships designed to fight as part of a perfect whole were trying to engage in individual combat, something their crews had never trained for. It was like watching a superorganism try to fight after being split into its component parts. "Send the message," Diana ordered. "Your formation-based warfare evolved over thousands of years. Humanity's chaos-based combat evolved over thousands of battles. Which do you think is more effective?" The battle for Mars' orbit became a lesson in human innovation versus alien tradition. Every time the Concordat fleet attempted to establish a new formation, gravity bombs would disrupt their positioning. Every time they thought they had a lock on a human ship, it would turn out to be a phantom. And through it all, 12 very real human vessels struck from impossible angles with impossible weapons. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't just their technology or their determination, it was their ability to embrace chaos and turn it into a weapon. Victory's price. The quantum readings from the devastated Mars orbital zone told a story that would reshape galactic politics forever. Nearly half of the Concordat's mighty fleet lay damaged or disabled, their perfect crystalline forms now scarred by weapons they hadn't believed possible. The remaining ships had pulled back to Deimos, their commanders struggling to comprehend how 12 human vessels had decimated their forces. Inside Defiance's command center, Commander Rodriguez fought through her exhaustion, the neural interface strain beginning to take its toll after hours of intense combat. "Status report," she managed, her voice hoarse. 812 enemy ships combat ineffective, Lieutenant Zhang reported, his own fatigue evident. "The remainder have formed a defensive sphere around their command vessel. Our quantum cores are at 30% capacity." Dr. Patel's hologram flickered beside Diana's command chair. "We can't maintain the phantom projections much longer. The energy cost is becoming prohibitive." Diana nodded, studying the tactical display. The remaining Concordat ships had abandoned their complex formations, falling back on a simple defensive posture. It was perhaps the first truly adaptive tactic they'd shown, and that worried her. "They're learning," she murmured. "Computer, analyze their current formation compared to standard Concordat doctrine." The AI's response was immediate. Current formation shows 78% deviation from all known Concordat tactical patterns. "They are improvising." A grim smile crossed Diana's face. "So they can adapt. Interesting." She opened a channel to all ships. "This is Commander Rodriguez. The Concordat fleet is finally beginning to think outside their box. Prepare for real combat." Through the neural network, she felt the acknowledgement of her crews. They had bloodied the enemy with their tricks and unconventional tactics, but now came the true test, a direct confrontation with a force that was starting to understand human unpredictability. The quantum calm crackled to life, and High Marshal Ven's image appeared, but something had changed in his crystalline features. The contempt was gone, replaced by something that looked almost like respect. "Commander Rodriguez," he began, his tone different from previous communications, "your species has demonstrated capabilities we did not believe possible. Perhaps we were hasty in our judgment." Diana raised an eyebrow. You mean perhaps you were wrong to assume that your way was the only way to develop? We have governed quantum technology development for 50,000 years, one of the council members interrupted, materializing beside Ven. Our protocols exist for a reason. The chaos of uncontrolled advancement has produced weapons and tactics that just destroyed half your fleet, Diana cut in. While your ships were practicing the same formations perfected over millennia, we were innovating, adapting, creating. Chaos isn't our weakness, Counselor. It's our strength. A moment of silence followed her words. Diana could almost see the conflict in the alien leaders' postures, their rigid devotion to order warring with the undeniable evidence of humanity's success. We propose a compromise, Ven finally said. Your species has proven itself, uniquely capable. We offer you a place in the Concordat, not as a subject race, but as equals. Your innovations, properly controlled and shared, could benefit all species. Diana exchanged glances with her command staff before responding. And if we refuse? If we choose to develop on our own path? Then we must consider you a threat to galactic stability, the council member stated. This fleet may be damaged, but we can return with thousands more ships. Even your impressive capabilities cannot. Cannot what? Diana interrupted again. Cannot survive. Cannot win. You still don't understand. Every ship you send will face new weapons, new tactics. We'll never stop innovating, never stop improving. And next time, it won't be 12 ships greeting you. She gestured to Armada, who activated a hidden quantum signal. Across the solar system, hundreds of automated construction facilities emerged from concealment, each one capable of producing quantum ships and weapons. This was never about winning a single battle, Diana continued. It was about showing you that humanity won't be confined by your rules or your expectations. We'll join your Concordat, but on our terms. As equals who do things our own way. The alien leaders conferred silently for several moments before Ven spoke again. Your terms. Simple. Humanity maintains its independence and its right to develop technology as we see fit. In return, we'll share our innovations with the Concordat, after we've thoroughly tested them ourselves. You get access to new technologies and tactical doctrines, and we get to keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. The council members' crystalline forms shifted in what might have been agitation, but Ven's posture suggested acceptance. Your proposal is unprecedented. But then, your entire species appears to specialize in the unprecedented. That's humanity's gift to the galaxy, Diana replied. We see your impossible and turn it into our possible. Now, shall we discuss the details of our arrangement? As equals. The battle for Sol System, as it would become known in galactic histories, marked a turning point in the development of space warfare. The Concordat, for the first time in its long history, was forced to acknowledge that their way wasn't the only way, and that sometimes, chaos could produce results that order never could. As the negotiations proceeded, Diana allowed herself to finally relax in her command chair. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not through submission or conformity, but by being exactly what they had always been, adaptable, innovative, and utterly unwilling to accept limitations imposed by others. The galaxy would never be the same. And that, she reflected, was exactly how humanity liked it.